You performed in that.
Yeah.
With Jay-Z.
Damn, that shit f***ed me up.
What do you mean?
After we did the performance, you know me.
When Beans chose to go with Jay, that one hurt. Because I'd done a lot and prepared. I chose State Property over Rockware, and I wanted to just roll out with State Property. But it almost like he tricked Beans to shelf him, and he f***ed his life up to me doing that. These are very weird accusations. Things that if I did know about, I'd probably be guilty of as well. I have no idea about that shit.
I mean, if they got R. Kelly in prison for what he did, what they're accusing Diddy of is a lot worse.
But there's like tapes of R. Kelly, and I mean, I don't know, man.
Beanie Sigel has finally had enough of staying silent, and he's coming for Jay-Z's throat. The drama is seriously intense because this isn't just some random beef. We're talking about someone Beanie used to call his actual brother. But here's the real shocker. Beanie is spilling all about how Jay-Z basically threw loyalty out the window just to climb that corporate ladder, leaving the whole Roc-A-Fella family eating dust. But wait, it gets even juicier. Dame Dash is stirring the pot too, but plot twist, he's not just taking shots at Jay, he's throwing shade at Beanie. Can you believe he's saying Beanie's unwavering loyalty to Jay was actually his biggest career mistake? According to Dame, Beanie could have been an absolute legend if he'd stuck by Dame's side instead. And speaking of Jay-Z, honey, his pristine image is already taking hits left and right these days. Between all these betrayal rumors and whispers about his shady past, this latest drama is just adding fuel to an already blazing fire. What was once hip-hop's greatest dynasty is now looking more like a soap opera filled with backstabbing and unfinished business. With Beanie and Dame turning up the heat, those cracks in Jay's carefully polished legacy are starting to show. And trust me, this isn't just about ancient history. It's a full-on reckoning that's shaking Roc-A-Fella's foundation to its core.
So you feel like if Beans would have went with Shu instead of Jay, his career would have been bigger?
What? It's not even this guy had planned for them. He f***ed his own self up for that one. Like I had the movies, right? I had the clothing line.
Let me take you back, because this story is wild. Back in the day, Roc-A-Fella was absolutely untouchable, darling. Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and Beanie Sigel were like this tight-knit family that nobody could mess with, or so everyone thought. They weren't just building some regular old record label, they were creating an entire movement. Philly finally had its moment to shine, thanks to State Property bringing that raw, unfiltered energy to the scene. Freeway had the streets on lock, and together they gave Roc-A-Fella this edge that literally nobody else could touch. State Property wasn't just your average rap group, it was a whole lifestyle, honey. The music, the movies, even the clothing line, everything screamed loyalty and hustle. And at the heart of it all was Beanie, ride or die for the team and absolutely devoted to Jay like a loyal soldier. Dame Dash was playing big brother to everyone, making sure everybody was eating and staying true to the game.
Like, you ain't nobody getting on this record. We did it. I'm like, yo, don't play it for nobody. I didn't even want Jay to hear it until we finished it. I'm like, bro, nobody getting on this record.
It seemed absolutely bulletproof, darling. Roc-A-Fella wasn't just another label. It was a straight-up dynasty. They weren't just dropping hits. They were completely revolutionizing the culture and setting trends left and right. State Property put Philly on the map in this totally authentic, untouchable way. But here's the thing about loyalty. It starts getting real messy when egos and dollar signs enter the picture. If you looked closely enough, the cracks were already starting to show. Secret deals were happening behind closed doors, and that whole family vibe, it was slowly fading away. What used to feel like this unbreakable brotherhood was starting to look more and more like just business. And honey, not everyone was going to make it to the next level.
You know, Jay was writing a lot of his rhymes. So if Jay retired, that meant he was out of business as well. You know what I'm saying? Like that, Jay couldn't, if he's still making records, Jay can't retire. Jay was writing his record. Ask Bleak about it, you know?
Now, when Beanie Sigel talks about loyalty, he's talking about the kind you take to your grave, period. So imagine this absolutely heartbreaking moment. Beanie's standing in that courtroom facing charges that could literally end everything he's worked for, and he's thinking his boy Jay-Z has got his back. But what does Jay do? Absolutely nothing. Complete silence. Not a single word, not even a tiny show of support for someone who literally put everything on the line for Roc-A-Fella. That silence, it cut deeper than any diss track ever could, and let me tell you, the pain is still raw.
Beanie Sigel's apparently out of prison. Yesterday, an Instagram user named Wayno posted an image of Beanie Sigel with the caption, "My hitter back." Beans was incarcerated in 2012 for failing to pay more than $728,000 in federal taxes between 1999 and 2005.
Listen, Beanie wasn't just another artist on the roster, he was the muscle, the one who held it down when things got seriously dangerous. Time and time again, he put his neck on the line for the crew. So when that crucial courtroom moment came and Jay had the chance to vouch for him, to show the judge that Beanie was so much more than those charges against him, Jay just sat there in silence. The betrayal was real.
I think the fact that Jay was with him is what used to blow my mind more than anything. I don't know why he wants to put this guy so much.
In Beanie's own words, and trust me, you can hear the pain in his voice. This wasn't just abandonment, it was straight up betrayal. He had sacrificed everything for Roc-A-Fella, for Jay, for the legacy they built together. And when the chips were down, the man he thought was family left him hanging out to dry. That kind of hurt doesn't just go away, honey. And let's be real, Jay-Z knew exactly what was at stake. His word could have changed everything, could have completely turned Beanie's life around. Instead, Jay played it safe, keeping his pristine image intact while Beanie took the fall. That silence, it spoke volumes, louder than any defense ever could. It was the moment their bond shattered completely, and Beanie's trust in Jay-Z was destroyed forever.
He put his head down, he was like, no, I've never been crushed like that ever in my life. Cause I'm like, damn, this is my man, like and I looked at it like, all right, no, nigga.
Beanie has been pouring his heart out about the pain ever since, and it's absolutely gut-wrenching. For him, it wasn't just about that courtroom drama, it was about realizing that all the loyalty he gave was completely one-sided. That betrayal left scars that no amount of Roc-A-Fella nostalgia could ever heal. And Dame Dash, he's been spilling the tea for years about how Jay-Z was playing this long game where everyone else was just pawns on his chessboard. For Dame, this wasn't just about business moves, it was deeply personal. He built Roc-A-Fella right alongside Jay, treating it like a real brotherhood, but claims Jay always had bigger plans, something solo in mind. Dame is not holding back anymore. He's calling it exactly how he sees it. He's saying Jay traded loyalty for corporate deals, shaking hands with the same industry people they used to fight against. And honey, it wasn't just about the money, it was about control. Dame's straight up saying Jay-Z orchestrated this whole power play to push him out of Roc-A-Fella and turn it into his own personal empire.
I feel like if Beans would have went with Shu instead of Jay, his career would have been bigger.
What? It's not even this guy had planned for them. He put his own self up for that one. Like I had the movies, right? I had the clothing line. The clothing line was doing 20 million a year. You know, so we had the movies, the touring, the clothing line.
And if you thought Dame was the only one feeling the sting, think again. The ripple effect hit everyone. Beanie Sigel, State Property, everyone. Dame hasn't been shy about exposing how Jay-Z left them all hanging when it suited his rise to the top. According to Dame, Jay didn't just step on toes, he straight up stepped on necks to secure his spot at the summit. For Dame, this isn't just some business fallout. It's a deep betrayal from someone he considered a brother. He's been calling Jay out publicly, saying every move was calculated, leaving the crew behind while positioning himself as king. In Dame's eyes, Jay didn't just switch lanes, he completely changed the game and left everyone else choking on his dust.
That's a lie. Jay made that money. It's supposed to be. For years. All right, next thing, we gonna do that.
And when Dame speaks, people listen because he was there, building the rock from nothing. The way he tells it, Jay's climb to the top came with plenty of sacrifices, just not his own. The pain in Dame's voice when he talks about it, you can't fake that kind of hurt.
For me to look him in his eyes and I'm shackled, round the waist, ankles and everything, and the man was like, oh. Like that f***ed me up. It took everything in me not to like let one go. Like that took away a lot of shit that I thought that we had.
When Beanie dropped Average Cat, it wasn't just another track. It was a direct missile aimed at Jay-Z. He held absolutely nothing back, exposing the betrayal he felt and all the power moves Jay made at his expense. Every single bar was dripping with raw emotion, frustration, anger, and the pain of loyalty betrayed. Beanie wasn't just airing dirty laundry. He was showing the world the deep cracks in Roc-A-Fella's foundation.
Okay, well, but on that Roc Boys album, there's a song, Average Cat.
I ain't your average cat. Yeah.
Was that a Jay-Z diss record?
Come on, man. You know it was.
Okay, well, I'm saying, you tell me the other
Come
one was
on,
not,
man.
so I can't just assume that this one is.
That's blatant.
That's Blake.
Now Jay-Z, always the chess player, never responding directly. Instead, he let his actions do all the talking. Moves that kept Beanie and others pushed to the background spoke louder than any verse could. Beanie's career mysteriously started stalling, and whispers started circulating that Jay had a hand in it, quietly closing doors and limiting opportunities for his former right-hand man. And it's not just speculation. Styles P, another heavy hitter in the game, pointed out how Jay's strategic silence often leaves others out in the cold. TK Kirkland added more fuel to this already blazing fire, claiming Jay didn't just abandon Beanie, he actively blocked him from reaching his full potential. This wasn't just about being left out, it was about being deliberately held back.
Roc-A-Fella joint was actually personal, so that could have went wrong. That could have went all the way wrong, and it was more ego and pride and two camps who kind of, do the same shit and run around the city and, the tri-state and all the states doing the same kind of flow. So that could have kind of got real ugly.
And the music, honey? It kept this feud burning hot. Beanie's lyrics painted this devastating picture of betrayal, but the whispers behind the scenes made everything even more scandalous. Industry insiders started connecting all the dots, talking about how Jay's chess moves weren't just business, they were pure survival tactics at the expense of his closest allies. For the fans, these diss tracks weren't just music, they were like looking through a window into the collapse of one of rap's most iconic crews. Beanie wasn't just battling in the booth, he was fighting with everything he had to reclaim his place and expose the man who he felt stabbed him in the back, destroying the very brotherhood they built together.
Everybody know Dame got a aggressive way of, putting out whatever you trying to put out, say whatever you want to say. Dame is very unapologetic. And he's very passionate in anything he do, so.
He blew it. He had Jay-Z, he had the most important artist of his generation.
So what happened with that relationship? How did that relationship that was so good sour so fast?
The Roc-A-Fella breakup? It wasn't just some business split, it was an all-out war, and Dame Dash is still not over it. He's been saying it again and again. Jay-Z didn't just walk away, he orchestrated every single move, using corporate deals to squeeze Dame out and claim the throne for himself. According to Dame, Jay's loyalty was purely to the bottom line, not to the people who helped build this empire from the ground up.
Nah, he wanted more, and everybody wanted more. Dame just had a very particular way of approaching it. He's far from stupid.
Right.
Very, very smart.
Right.
Dame paints this picture crystal clear. While he was pouring his heart and soul into pushing Roc-A-Fella forward, Jay was making these quiet power moves, secret deals with Def Jam, cozying up to the very executives they once fought against. Jay was positioning himself to be the face of the brand, even if it meant throwing his day ones under the bus. Dame wasn't just cut out, he was completely blindsided, forced to watch as the empire they built together became Jay's personal playground.
It's hard. I don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's gonna trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when did you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator?
I mean, yeah, you could say that Dame was more hands-on with a lot of things than anybody. The higher ups from Roc-A-Fella. As far as being in, whether it was Roc-A-Wear, clothing, or being in the studio when we was recording, Dame was real hands-on.
Beanie's struggles snowballed after Roc-A-Fella crumbled. He's been brutally honest about how financial mismanagement and Jay-Z's lack of support left him stranded. For someone who gave everything to Roc-A-Fella, it was the ultimate betrayal. PD Crack exposed all the messy money situations in state property, claiming show money disappeared and payments never materialized. Beanie, as the leader, was caught right in the middle of it all.
He being sarcastic. He can't no drive one car, how many cars he
Right,
had.
exactly.
Like,
I thought that was funny comment.
Cool, boy. that nigga, you trying to deflect and you mean?
He also
At that
said, he said with his mama and the sticks, and selling
That was
800,000.
disrespectful.
That was disrespectful. When I read that, I kind of cringed a little bit.
Yeah, like his mama.
Yeah.
You mean?
After Roc-A-Fella, things got even worse. Beanie's health took a devastating hit. He lost a lung after being shot, which affected his voice and ability to perform. Legal troubles piled on, making any comeback nearly impossible. While Freeway and others found ways to survive, Beanie's struggles just seemed to get heavier and heavier.
Did you lose a lung in that shit?
Collapsed, tore, it bust through my joint.
Okay, so it collapsed, but you didn't lose the actual lung.
No.
Okay.
A piece of it.
A piece of it.
Yeah.
Did that affect you, like, long term?
Yeah.
So it affected, like, your vocal cords and
Everything.
Stuff like that?
My vocals came from when I was in a coma. So when I was coming out of it, I had a breathing tube down my throat.
Oh, damn.
So when I first woke up out the coma, I didn't know where I was at. And I yanked I pulled the breathing tube out, and it caused me so it tore up shit in my throat.
That Breakfast Club interview spilled all the tea. The crew laid bare how Roc-A-Fella's collapse left everyone scrambling. Petey and Neef pointed fingers, claiming Beanie lacked hustle post-Empire, but was it really about hustle, or was the system rigged against him? Meek Mill, Philly's rising star, has always acknowledged Beanie's massive impact on his career in the city. But Meek's been clear. Actions speak louder than words, and Beanie's story with Roc-A-Fella serves as a warning about industry loyalty.
Those songs, Crew Love, 1,000 Bars. I hated all those records. I hated them all. Used to listen to them shit like, this nigga's f***ing smoking me.
The Breakfast Club interview was explosive. They didn't hold back, calling out Jay-Z's handling of the crew during and after the label's fall. Petey specifically highlighted the financial mess, saying they were kept in the dark while Jay made power moves. Neef reflected on how the crew fell apart when they should have stayed united.
We never had the conversation like, what's up, man? What we got going on? We never had that.
You never had that conversation,
Nah.
even though you performed at his concert.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
I mean, that all depends on how you look like it. Look at it.
I mean, I just assumed since you did the
Nino and
concert,
Jay-
you guys talked. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Nino and Jay, just the invite alone. If Jay don't, we not gonna fuck with you.
Meanwhile, Jay-Z, playing his usual chess game, no direct responses, just that signature silence that cuts deeper than words. While Jay's empire keeps growing, Beanie's name barely gets mentioned in the Roc-A-Fella story. The bigger Jay gets, the smaller Beanie's legacy seems to become.
Well, Beanie Sigel at the time, and you can look it up if you like, just to be honest, was driving 2 Bentleys. I don't know how. It's impossible to drive 2 cars at one time. With his mama in the sticks and selling 800,000 records, I don't know what more can you do for somebody, at that point. What people choose to do when they attain that type of a success.
In recent interviews, Beanie's been laying it all out, how his loyalty was never matched, how Jay's moves pushed him out of the spotlight during Roc-A-Fella's peak. What once looked like unbreakable brotherhood now feels like just another failed business deal.
There was a time like I had took Kanye's chain off his neck because he was driving me nuts. Because Beans was getting ready. We thought he was going to go to jail for a couple of years. He was on trial. So I was trying to make 4 albums for him so that if he went to jail, because every time, if you sold 500,000 records, I could give you $1 million advance.
This isn't just old drama. Beanie's career never recovered. Every time he speaks about it, it reminds everyone how brutal the industry can be. That missing reconciliation between him and Jay, it's a dark spot on hip-hop history, showing how fragile loyalty becomes when success enters the picture.
I already had 5 albums that each went gold. While he was in jail, I could always make sure he had 500 grand. I was just trying to get it all done, and Kanye wouldn't give him any beats. Like, damn, you dropped Kanye. I was like, I don't give a f. I'd done so much to fight for him. It was like, what more?
Fans are adding their own theories. One particularly striking comment suggests Jay saw what Dame saw in Beanie and deliberately blocked his rise. Dame's always claimed Jay-Z made moves to prevent Beanie from becoming a superstar, keeping the spotlight firmly on himself.
He also said, with his mama in the sticks and selling
That was
800,000.
disrespectful.
That was disrespectful. When I read that, I kind of cringed a little bit.
Yeah, like his mama.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah. And selling 800,000 records, I don't know what more you could do for somebody. What people
Nobody
choose.
was asking Jay to do nothing for him.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, Dame Dash. These names are wrapped in a story of ambition, loyalty, and betrayal. From courtrooms to boardrooms, diss tracks to power moves, it's clear this isn't just about music. So where do you stand? Were Jay-Z's moves calculated betrayal or just survival in a cutthroat industry? And what does it say about his legacy? Visionary leader or ruthless mastermind? But hold up. If you thought this was messy, wait until you hear about Christy and Roc's ex spilling all the tea.